everyone, and welcome to the Weekly Woo. This week we pulled Charoite, which will be our guiding crystal, Eagle Spirit, but Eagle was upside down, and we'll get into that. And we also pulled Aspen, which was also upside down. So let's start with Aspen. In this deck, the key words are shed the old, and this is so apropos for this week as we lead up to a new moon on Wednesday. Now, this new moon is so beautiful. It has some incredible energy that really brings us to the heart of our dreams, the heart of what we truly want in our life. And it's going to give us an opportunity to see how we make it happen and how we can make it happen with joy and optimism rather than the self-doubt that comes in. And indeed, that's what a lot of the message that these cards are bringing in is about. Now, before a new moon, we enter a phase called the dark moon phase, or the balsamic phase of the moon. That is a time to shed, right? So this says shed the old. The dark moon phase is a time to really let go and to be really honest with what is emotionally holding you back. Is it an inability to forgive? Is it judgment? Is it holding on to the past pain? Aspen, its message is to let go of the past so that a new birth can happen, so a new way can be forged. And indeed, we got it upside down, which signals that in our lives, somewhere, we are allowing the past pain to hold us back. If you watch these videos, you know I talk a lot about tapping in the EFT technique to release PTSD and emotions that are more difficult. Now, one of the ways that we can do this is to tap around our left ear. A great mantra to use this week as we're purging and getting ready for the new moon on Wednesday is, I let go of the past pain. I let go of the past pain. I easily let go of the past pain. Now, this is short form EFT. There is a longer form of that, and if you're interested, I'll be exploring that on the Patreon account with the extended weekly woo this week. You can go to patreon.com/thegoodwoo, and I'll also be posting that link. And it's also, if you're watching this on Instagram, it's right at the top in the bio. One of the cool things about Aspen, they're very talkative trees. If you've ever been around them, the way that the leaves move, makes such a beautiful sound. And so this also says to me, like, maybe part of letting go of the past is that we need to talk about it, that we need to find someone to talk about that with, whether it's a therapist or a healer, a friend, a family member, whatever it is. And if you can't find someone that you feel safe with, to write it down and then burn it, write the letter to the person that you feel has wronged you, and then burn it and let it go. And as I always say, sometimes, I guess most of the time, when we think we're angry at someone else and we've put blame on someone else, it's really a manifestation of something deeper, which is our own frustration at ourselves or a lack of forgiveness for ourselves, because indeed our relationship with ourselves is the most important relationship. Charoite is a call to individualization. It's definitely a crystal that helps you let go of what would be blocking your inner child from being healthy and happy. You know that as humans, emotionally and energetically, we're like an onion, and that first layer is that child within us that is actually always running the show. So this is a signal for us this week as we're preparing for the new moon, as we're letting go, to really go within and connect to that youngest part of yourself that is maybe still needing something, is maybe needing healing, needing attention, needing love. It goes back to, shedding the old. We can't really shed it unless we acknowledge it. And indeed, I think the inner child, the relationship we have with that archetype of the inner child within, it often needs that mother archetype within you or that father archetype within you to come in and help it let go, to help it let go of the pain that it endured and may be carrying. So it's a week to pay attention to the inner child, but to also ask yourself, what is your relationship with your internal father? What's your relationship with your internal mother? This idea of individualization really coming back to, at some point in our lives, we have to become our own parents and really forgive our parents for their shortcomings or what we did or did not get from them. And then it becomes about, okay, now you have to give it to yourself. That can happen at all different ages. I know for me, it happened early on, and I definitely ran from that kind of maturity, that kind of adulting. But once I started getting into it, a lot of healing happened in my life. Now we got eagle spirit, and it was also upside down. Its keywords in this deck are spirit has your back. So there is something this week where we're feeling like maybe we aren't supported. You know, maybe we're not getting the encouragement that we need. But when eagle comes up, it, you know, this totem is so powerful. You know, the eagle perspective, that what we call the bird's eye view, the ability to see from such an elevated, high vibrational perspective that you are able to let go of the pain, and that you're able to see, oh, that experience actually gave me the wisdom that I needed to do A, B, and C, or to have this dream, or to take action on my goals and desires. So eagle, when it comes in, it's saying you are so much more powerful than you know. And that power, yes, it comes from within, but it is also your ability to connect with that unseen part of yourself, whether you want to call it, you know, God or the higher self, or however you, whatever terminology you use to identify with that larger part of existence. Eagle is saying to us this week, it is available for you. You have an opportunity this week. If you haven't already started a personal relationship with your highest self and creator, whatever you want to call that, infinite spirit, divine mother, divine father, whatever it is, you know, father sky, mother earth, whatever, that which calls you, that which you feel created you, and that which you feel you belong to, it is speaking to you this week. And in that conversation, you have access to infinite power and infinite energy and infinite inspiration, right? Because whenever we start something new, which is what this new moon, right, on Wednesday, it's a starting of really a brand new life. Because of the way the cosmic weather, how it goes in cycles, this new moon heralds the spring, right? But it also is giving us a moment to really look back at the last year and a half and to see, what have I gained from these challenging experiences? Where has power developed within me? Where has strength developed within me? And I have survived. And so now what do I do? What do I do with this experience that is expressing itself as wisdom? What do I do with these dreams of a future that will make me happier? That a lot of that has to do with being of service. Indeed, we have in this new moon that's coming a lot of planets in Pisces, which that archetype of Pisces is so much about all that is, and our ability to be all that is, and yet also be an individual. You know, the human journey, we are part of a collective that is part of an even bigger collective, but we are also singular and individual. It's a polarity that we have to hold both. So this week, really embracing the all that is, right? That eagle perspective, that everything is connected. And you are a very important piece of that connection as an individual, but you are also the whole. I think it takes people years and years to be able to hold that double perspective And I sometimes really struggle with it, especially as a parent when I'm dealing with the details and the minutia of, the mundane everyday life. And this is why meditation is so important, because it connects us with that higher, larger energy that is also us, that we are a part of. So before we go, I'll just pick one of my new deck, the archetype deck, because the archetype work is really my favorite subject and modality right now. As I work with clients, we really dive into the archetypes, and right now it's this whole entire last year and a half with everything we've gone through, it's really been about the father and the mother archetype within us, and how do we open to that? How do we cultivate those parts of ourselves so that we are self-sufficient in our own nurturing and our own care for ourselves, and therefore able to create relationships that are healthy, that have healthy boundaries, that aren't codependent. I mean, it's a journey, isn't it? I mean, for me, it definitely is. Okay, so one archetype card for those who are watching this video. Of course, it jumps. The Queen. Wow. Beautiful. Now, interesting, right? I mean, this, and in pop culture now, we use this word in several different ways to describe a certain kind of power. It's a feminine power, and regardless of our gender, we all have that. Regardless of how we gender identify, there is this inner feminine royalty within each and every one of us. So one of the things this week that may be really fun and interesting is to maybe research the feminine archetype of the queen, different queens in history. And also, like, if you look at goddesses, oftentimes when we're looking at different religious deities, they were also labeled as queen. And what does that mean? And where is that inside of you? Are you connected with this internal queen within you? And is she benevolent, right? What is your relationship like with it? Now, this also, as we lead up to a new moon, and we're in that dark moon phase, the balsamic phase, it is a time to really amp up your self-care and to treat yourself like a queen. The shadow aspect of the queen archetype is, right, the tyrant, the ruthless, judgmental, blaming part of ourself that it's like a self-righteousness that can come up in the same archetype, because, right, every energy has its high vibe, its low vibe. Our job is to choose how we're going to use these parts of ourselves. So this week, go high vibe. That idea of a good queen protects and nurtures, but is also an example to those that she may have in her protection, an example of how to use power in a benevolent and magical way, right? I mean, it's a pretty magical card. There's the lotus. It looks like there's a pearl and also ruby. And of course, the snake that represents the divine feminine. And it looks like that's the moon. So on some level, this new moon is speaking to this part of ourself, this internal queen that wants to create that benevolent, beautiful kingdom where where her subjects can thrive, and the subjects being your dreams, your goals, your desires, your values. And all last year, it really brought up for all of us, like, what are our values? What do we value? What is important? We want to bring that wisdom into this new moon as we start this new chapter as spring begins. So I hope this spoke to you guys. I hope it gives you a bit of guidance for how to maneuver this beautiful week that we have, which it is going to be quite beautiful with this moon. We're already really in the orb of it, even though it's a new moon. Sending you all so much love. Thank you for viewing.